Good morning, Desert Sands Educational Foundation community. This is Sean Webb. I am the director of the foundation and the director of community engagement for Desert Sands Unified School District. Welcome to our, geez, Mary, I think it's our 13th episode, or is it 15? I don't know. I got to count them up. But we're on we're in our teenage years of our episodes of classroom conversations where we engage the Desert Sands Unified School District community. And I quickly want to get on our first guest today because we've got some really exciting news, and I know he has some meetings to get to. So I'm going to kind of bypass the intro. I'll get back to the intro here in a second. But great news coming on from our nutritional services department, and we have Dan Capello on with us. Good morning, Dan. How you doing?
Good morning. I'm doing really well, Sean. Thanks.
And really well.
Really well. Exceptionally well.
Okay. Mary, really well sounds like something important's coming out, right?
Yeah.
I know. It sounds really good.
So, Mr. Capello, what do you have to share with us?
Well, I have some exciting news from the United States Department of Agriculture. Essentially, for the last, since the COVID crisis started back in March, predominantly we've done a style of service called Seamless Summer. And so generally in the summer, we serve meals at school sites. It's very simple. We have grab and go meals. We don't have to deal with whether the kids are, anybody under the age of 19 gets a meal. So if you're 18 or under, there's no questions asked. You could be a member of our district or just a kid in the local community. They're able to come up and get those meals. When the first day of school, we had to switch back to what's called the National School Lunch Program, which has an incredible amount of regulations. We know there's been some frustration from parents because they have pulled up to our sites where we're serving these meals, and now we're asking questions about what school do the kids go to. We can only serve enrolled students. It's really become cumbersome, and it really isn't what's best for kids. So yesterday, the United States Department of Agriculture put out an edict that essentially states that we're back on Seamless Summer. So we go back to this style of service where anybody, any kid, whether they're enrolled here or they're local at Palm Springs or over at Coachella, will all be provided with meals. We're doing Mondays and Wednesdays. We're doing 2 days of meals on Monday and 3 days on Wednesdays. We're still going to talk about whether we can expand that out beyond that. And but really the paperwork is going to be much simpler, and we won't have to try to figure out what school everybody goes to. And it's been a real burden for all of us, parents, students, and certainly your favorite nutrition department at Desert Sands. And then the other thing that's pretty good right now, we also believe is one of the things I'd like to get the message out on, is we are serving at 32 school sites. So I think every school site that has students enrolled, we're serving. While over the summer we were only doing 10, right now we're doing every school. And then starting on, I believe it's the 9th, we're going to move the hours that we serve back sooner. So we're going to start serving at 7 in the morning until 9:30. And that will allow parents that have to be back at 8 o'clock or 7:30, quarter of 8, to get started with distance learning. We understand that's a burden, so we moved it. We would have moved it a little sooner, but we're just trying to see how this all plays out. It's been an incredible learning experience this year.
Oh, definitely. And I know that our packaged foods that we're doing in these drive-through are not generally the same types of meals that we'd have during the school year.
No. Unfortunately, one of the big, I believe I said this in our the last time I was on. Well, the biggest heartache for us is over the last few years, everybody in our department has spent a lot of time and effort getting the fresh fruit and salad bar, making sure that kids could take exactly what they wanted as long as they were going to eat it. And with COVID and trying to figure out what the next stage of all this is going to be with social distancing, we had to pull the salad bar. So we do things a whole lot different during the school year.
Right, most definitely. And, one of the comments that just came up, I want to say that our DSUSD board president is watching, Mrs. Porras.
Good morning.
Hi, Dan. How you doing? And then also she gives you a little shout out that you've been doing an outstanding job during this process. I'll say that, I volunteered during the summer when we had the 10 sites going on. Now that we have all the 30 plus sites going on, that's fantastic that you guys are able to do that.
Thank you.
There is one question, and that's where my last question kind of came from. the parent asked about school menus. Because of the menus being vastly changing all the time, it's a little bit more difficult to put out a monthly menu, I'm assuming.
Yeah, we did that deliberately because when we were on the National School Lunch Program, we had to do high school students needed to be served in a different way than your elementary school students. And then we're also having a problem with distribution. So for the most part, our distribution channel is solid. We're getting in the food that we're ordering, but there are a lot of substitutions that we're doing. And we'll take a look at it, and you'll probably see a menu in the next couple of weeks. But right now, everything's just been in flux. We don't want to advertise things and then have people disappointed when they show up.
You're doing the best that you can with the scenarios and everything, just like we all are. And I think you guys are doing an amazing job, because when you guys say you served over 1.6 million meals?
Yeah, it's been climbing since then. Yeah, it's been really incredible. And I've been in the desert for 5 years now, and those our staff out there, I mean, it's one thing to look at your dashboard and see that 118 on there.
Yeah,
but it's another thing to be standing out there serving meals to the kids. So I have the most respect for the people that are out on the front lines doing this. It's been amazing. They're great. Most
definitely. And then, Dan, I want to get you off here as soon as possible, but there was a question here. I'm actually going to bring this up here about Seamless Summer.
Yep.
About no longer being charged. So that means Seamless Summer continues.
Yeah.
So that means that they just show up. As long as you're under the age of 18, they get a meal.
Yeah, that's been a real struggle for us. So over the summer, ever since March when we first went to Seamless Summer, there's so many different words, and I guess it's like education in general. It's so confusing, and I deal with it every day, and even I get confused. But yeah, so unfortunately, when we were on the National School Lunch Program, we had to charge people if they weren't on the free lunch program or if they didn't go to a community eligible school. Community eligible school is where there's so many kids that would be free anyway. They just essentially make the whole school free. And we're hopeful. We're waiting for direction from the state right now that maybe we can go back and change anybody that we've charged already and maybe refund that. We're not sure where we're at right now, but as we move forward, no one will be charged and we've got the go-ahead to at least December 31st. And then we're hopeful that the environment changes and we're back to some sense of normalcy in the community and across the nation, or they'll come up with more funding and we'll be able to continue it on beyond that. We're really tied by Washington. We can only do, we have to follow the regulations that we're given by Washington. That's really hard to get that message across, because what we would choose to do for students, unfortunately, can be different from what federal regulations are. But I'm sure that's across the board with education.
Of course.
Dan, are you able to deal with special needs food requirements for some of the children?
Yeah, if you have, right now we have, you'll need to identify yourself when you come to a school site. That's why we try to get people to the best of their ability to go to their home school site. We know that's not always possible. We found that early on. When we switched to lunch, we learned very quickly that people, we try to get them to go, because in general, your cafeteria lunch ladies, they're going to know your student and they know about their dietary needs. If you have any special dietary needs, we just need you to go to a doctor and get a prescription. But if you have no gluten or no dairy or whatever it is, we will accommodate you as long as you have a prescription. And then you'll just go to the line and we'll have those special meals prepared for you and ready to go.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah, Mary, it's pretty amazing. You go by and these nutritional staff, as Dan said, they know the students. You think about it, a teacher will have, 200 students in a year, and every year they have new students. Well, as a cafeteria nutritional staff member, you could be at an elementary school and know those kids for 6 years and really get to know who they are.
Yeah, it's phenomenal, really. Yeah. It was amazing.
They do an amazing job with developing relationships, Dan. It's just unreal in what they do. And, and I'm going to try and field this question, but I'll bring it up to you guys. There's a question about why not just packaging salads, because kids need salads. And I want to say that's more of like a holding issue, right? It's really tough to keep a salad in a packaged container.
Yeah, and when we go back to school, we'll be doing that. That's how it will work. But right now, we're dealing with temperatures, and again, we're dealing with like, for instance, this morning we spent a large amount of money with it's complicated, like everything in nutrition, but like this morning we had a quality issue with grapes, and grapes sold very well. But when we're out in 118 degrees of heat, lettuce can quickly become problematic.
Exactly.
I agree. Go back to inside feeding. There'll definitely be replacement salads for the fact that the salad bar will go. The unfortunate piece to that is right now kids can choose what they want. But when we go back to back to brick and mortar learning, we're going to unfortunately have to choose for them.
Yeah. When I was at Big Bear, we did a packaged salads for grab and go, and I think some of the issues were the product may have been in house for a little bit.
Yeah.
And then we did the packaged salad, and then the next day it just really wasn't up to par.
Yep.
So it was just basically discarded anyhow. Salad bar.
I know, it's an incredible moving. I mean, everything's connected with something else, and it's like, like there may be, we may send everybody home early, or we were off because of whatever reason that we weren't anticipating. So much. We do 22,000 meals on a good day around here, and so many moving pieces all the time. So we're juggling constantly.
Yeah, definitely. Well, Dan, I know that you are busy today and you have meals going out and so forth, and obviously a change in your programs. Real quick, once again, we got comments. Thank you for all your hard work you're doing.
Thank you, Lauren.
Got another parent here. Thank you for the clarification. This is exactly what Classroom Conversation is all about, is getting communication out to the family. So thank you for that.
Yeah, and thank you so much. I just want to say to the community, we appreciate you and your kindness that you've shown us throughout this. And it is so difficult for us. We have these regulations that are good natured. They were meant with the best of intent, but when you have a situation like this, we have to turn on a dime, and that, like I said earlier, that's not always what's best for students, but we're still tied by those regulations. But the government, the USDA, has done what we feel is the right decision. They've made the right decision, and that's going to benefit all of us.
I agree completely. So, Dan, thank you very much for taking the time.
Thank you.
We will catch up with you later, and hopefully we won't have any major changes to catch up with you, but it'll be some positive changes about going back to the classroom. That'd be great, right?
That sounds really good. I can't wait for that.
All right, we'll see you later.
Bye, Mary.
Bye. So, Mary, what do you think about that? Maddie can now grab food. If she comes to visit you in Big Bear, or you're down here in the desert in San Diego, now you got some meals.
Well, like when I was working at the cafeteria, and you mentioned about how the cafeteria workers do know those students.
Yeah.
I was only there for probably like 4 months, and at some point, you start to pick kids out that you remember when they come through for whatever reason, Right. But a lot of those cafeteria ladies, they knew exactly what they were going to eat or what they needed, or how they were going to act or react. Or I was really pretty amazed that they do have a relationship with all those students that are having lunch.
Oh, definitely.
Early meals or whatever.
Like when I went over to Indio, and they're serving 1,200, families that are coming by for meals right now, and they knew everybody there.
Yeah.
It was funny because I got to know people because I was going to a place by the car they drove. No, they knew exactly the car they drove, the person that was in the car, how mom's doing, how's grandma doing. It was just fantastic. Yeah. So I do want to point out, if anybody has questions, you can go ahead and submit them here at the bit.ly, that's bit.ly/distanceq. You can put in questions there that's being monitored by our Ed Services team if you have questions about everything that's going on. But I just want to make sure that people are aware of that. Let's see here. But Mary, how about we talk about some of our social media updates?
Oh, cool.
We already got our meal updates. I wanted to skip to that because I knew Dan had some meetings going on, some distance learning updates. And then I want to recap the building the foundation. I'll share that with you. But social media, let's go to Twitter here. So social media going on right now. We just sent out the Riverside County Office of Education video about distance learning. I'm actually going to show that with you later. It's pretty cool. So in Riverside County, I don't know the exact number of how many districts there are, but I'll tell you, I think it's well over 50. I'll actually find that number out for you. But what's pretty cool is they did a video on distance learning and 5 key tips. Mary, we're in it 4 times.
Oh my gosh. Oh, I love it.
4 times. And in 2 of the times, they're showing this platform as well as a platform we do with webinars, and they congratulated Desert Sands as well as Corona Unified as being the ones in the forefront and giving communication out to families. So you've helped with that. So I want to say thank you very much.
Well, and I think it's really critical because there's so much information that we're hearing from every direction.
Yeah.
Whether it's school related or openings or closings or whatever, that you almost have to keep hearing it. What they say, marketing, it used to be 7 times, and now I think it's like 10 times you have to hear it before you actually, work with it or think about, oh yeah, maybe I will buy that product.
I wonder what it is. How many times you got to scroll by it before you do that, right?
Exactly. Yeah. And I think when you've got multiple children in different schools, and then you've got in college, and then you've got relatives in different states, and everybody's sharing information, and it isn't always necessarily the same format.
Right. Exactly.
So, well, they're doing it this way over here, and why can't we do it this way over here? Because I see that a lot. Just kind of moving around.
Yeah.
So this is a good platform.
Yes, definitely.
Yeah, for sure.
And continue with our social media here. Let's see. I'm going to talk about building the foundation. We had Stefan with us on Thursday. We had a good, successful show. A lot of people watched on. I'm going to get the actual numbers from our friends at KESQ. And they shared with us, we're going to get to show that a second time. So that's kind of exciting. And I'm actually working with our district translators so we can have it viewable on Telemundo as well. So
wow.
Yep. Really cool. City of Indio did a highlight on one of our teachers, Thomas Buck. He was the County Teacher of the Year last year, 2019. So they did a little special on him. He teaches the media and film class over there and do some amazing things. But that's going on Twitter. Just a bunch of other stuff. We retweeted some information. Shadow Hill's got some great atmosphere and culture going on there. That's where Mary Alexander is. You know her well.
Yes.
Yeah. But that's what we got going on Twitter. Let's check out. Let's see our Facebook page. We do a lot of good posting on our Facebook page as well. Like I said, Jan and Mary do a fantastic job with helping you with things. You can see that we're being broadcasted live right now. That's our feed. We did information about, the building the foundation. So some great things going on. And then I always like to highlight our website. This is where you can get the most up-to-date information about anything going on. But I want to highlight out again, and Carol talked about it the other day, and I think it's very important for families to know. It's real simple. You just go to dsusd.us. If you click over the social emotional wellness, Mary, I actually played around on this for a little bit over the weekend. There's so many different supports there, not even just for students, but for families.
Oh, that's awesome.
Adults. Yeah. So you can click through here, see all the different behavioral supports, the wellness, and all of these are great links and great pages that just provide you with opportunities to gain more information, opportunities to seek out help in anything that you need. So pretty awesome what we got going on over here with Desert Sands and the social media and the updates.
Well, I can appreciate what Dan said and what you said about being out there delivering food and the heat of the summer. I only had like 4 hours worth of that this weekend, loading in and loading out. And what I forgot is that the impact of leaving air conditioning and then all of a sudden you're outside. Oh, yeah. It's like hitting a wall, and then you find yourself just kind of lugging along and thinking, gosh, am I this old? Can I carry this little box? So I can imagine if you're out there all day or several times during the day for extended times, that just really will drain you completely. So kudos.
No, kudos to them. I agree. So this is the video I was talking about. It's about 5 minutes long. I just want to kind of highlight everything that the county is recommending for 5 recommendations for distance learning. So I'm going to take us off screen. I'm going to play the video, then I'll see you in a second, okay?
Okay.
So Mary, unfortunately, I understand we can't hear the sound. Is that what's going on?
Yes, can't hear it.
Okay, so I'm experiencing different things when I'm working from the office. So let me see if I can fix that here. Because so Mary, unfortunately, I understand we. See, I caught it up on Facebook here. We're about 10-second delay. Okay, so let me go ahead and see what we can do here. Because, like I said, that's a pretty cool, pretty awesome video that I want to share with everybody. Let's see here. You gotta love technical difficulties, right, Mary?
Oh my gosh, listen, I know yesterday I was on the phone with a really important phone call and it dropped after waiting 30 minutes to connect.
Oh, gee.
I thought, is it my phone? I gave up. I went.
I'm going to start it with you on, and you tell me if you can hear it, okay?
Okay.
Sorry about that, viewers. We're good to go?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Greetings. I am Dr. Judy D. White, and I proudly serve as your Riverside County Superintendent of Schools. Despite the challenges presented by COVID-19, educators and students have the ability to take their learning online. Across Riverside County, schools have taken their classrooms from a physical space to a distance learning experience. While the mode of communication and connection is different, teachers and students are making the most of their time away from the physical classroom. Many parents may ask, what is distance learning? Merriam-Webster defines distance learning as a method of study where teachers and students do not meet in a classroom, but use the internet, email, web, online courses to have classes. Simply put, distance learning is when students are separated from teachers and peers. This means that students learn remotely and do not have face-to-face learning with instructors or other students. Distance learning does not include any in-person interaction with an instructor or study peers. Students study at home on their own, and the learning is more individual and varies on speed and timeline according to each individual student and their availability. With increased requirements from the state, students and parents should expect a more rigorous academic course of study as they participate in distance learning. Because we want all students to have a positive and successful experience, here are 5 tips for parents to support their children participating in distance learning. Tip 1, help your child establish and stick to a routine. Even though school has gone to an online learning format, treat school days just as you would if your child was attending school as usual. This includes having them get up at the same time every day, get properly dressed, and eat a healthy breakfast. Number 2, check in with your child's advisor or teachers. Teachers and advisors are usually more than willing to connect with parents via email or phone after school hours. Check in if your child is having difficulty managing the online learning platform or staying on task. Be on the lookout for any communications from teachers indicating that they are having trouble connecting with your child during this time. Number 3, encourage physical activity and exercise. Your child will be sitting in front of their computer for long stretches of time. Encourage them to use the breaks in the day to stretch, walk the dog, or do jumping jacks. Any movement helps. Number 4, resist the urge to sit in on classes with your child. While it may certainly be tempting to pop in on your child's classes, please respect their privacy and that of other students. Connect with faculty and staff through email or other communication channels before or after school hours. And number 5, take care of you. This one is extra important, and we hear it often, but take care of you. If you are not taking care of your own physical, emotional, mental, and spiritual needs, you will have less energy, space, and patience to connect with and take care of your children. Even 10 to 15 minutes of scheduled me time during the day is beneficial. We understand the enormous responsibility and challenges that distance learning placed on parents, guardians, and students, as you had to create time, space, routine, and support for learning at home. We realize that all of our families are experiencing a difficult time and that there are many other needs, in addition to student learning, that are critical as we work through this crisis together. We are so thankful to our families and students for all the amazing gestures of kindness and generosity we keep learning about. From donating to food banks, sewing masks, thanking first responders, doctors and nurses, and writing notes of gratitude to teachers, staff, bus drivers, and food service workers. Your kindness will surely help all of us get through this together. In addition, remember that we have the power to come out stronger from this experience as we learn to adapt our lives and routines in the face of an unexpected yet shared challenge. Work hard, keep safe, and take care of one another.
Pretty
That's
awesome message, huh?
That's great. It was really, really great.
And like I said, it was pretty. You may not know the aerial shots, but there was 2 school shots in the aerials, and then you saw our platform here. We were on there twice.
Oh, awesome. Yes.
Yeah.
And I think she brought up a really good point. I mean, to me, I would kind of think I would want to be sitting there with your student when they're online with the teacher. But it's almost like you wouldn't walk into the classroom.
You know, I wish she would have had a conversation with my own mother when I was, because Mary, believe it or not, I was not the easiest student to get along with. A little squirrely, like you know that I am now. But Mom definitely visited the classroom a lot, and I know if I were going to school with us right now, Mom would be right here watching class. But no, I think it's some great information that Dr. Judy White gave out.
Yeah. Well, I know that I see the kids next door that they're pretty much on their own when they're doing their classwork still, and they're working well. And I think for some of the parents, it actually gives them an avenue to go ahead and be able to do what they need to do.
Right.
And do their job. Because like you're on your job, I'm on my job. So that's pretty interesting. And I know that exercising and getting around, because I see these kids around here after a while, they're riding their bikes and they're writing and they're talking and laughing. And, then they're grabbing lunch and then they can sit, go back, which is something that you almost don't get to do in school.
Right. You're right. Exactly.
You're usually transferring from one class to the other.
Most definitely.
So I know Madison goes to school next week, so they were shopping for school supplies and clothes to get her ready to go, and she's pretty excited about at least seeing her friends, because they still have not had a lot of friend contact with her little schoolmates.
So when you say she's going to be seeing her friends, and I know that they're in the San Diego area, and San Diego has got different things. Are they still going distance, or are they going to be hybrid? It's distance as well.
Distance. Apparently, you can apply to go.
You can apply for waivers.
And apparently, it's already full. So they're gonna keep her at home.
Okay. Because I know that she goes to a charter school, so they're a little bit different.
Yeah. So they'll be dealing with it differently. But Steve said it was a lot of parents. They work.
Yeah. Exactly. Yep.
So it's a situation. But yes, it was definitely hot in Palm Springs this weekend, and I had such an appreciation for people that were working out there. I only had to walk like a half a block, and I thought, oh man, I think I'm going to die.
So Mary, I don't know if you got to see earlier. I'm going to show you something. So StreamYard is making different changes all the time. Watch your screen now. I can do these things now. I can move us around.
Oh, I love it.
Yeah. So like when we have conversations, and this is going to help me out when I do the like tonight we'll have the school board meeting, and we'll have the webinar where we produce the American Sign Language and the Spanish translation. Some of the times, at the order that people come in, it just doesn't make sense on where they are on the screen. But now I can easily move them around, so it makes sense. Yeah, they have the sign language on top, so they could see and so forth. So that'd be great for that. No, it's kind of cool that StreamYard keeps advancing and changing.
Yeah, I guess one thing you just brought something up that I was going to ask you about with the children that, that have hearing disabilities or sight disabilities. I know that they always had their own classes, or sometimes they incorporate it in it. So are they in a special situation now that they're dealing with?
So as Crystal shared last week, Christy shared with their classes and so forth. So they have the full inclusion model, and what she does is she meets in small groups and smaller Zooms and so forth.
Okay.
And one of the things that I know that, Mrs. Sperber over at Page Middle School, one of the things that she's doing with her classroom mates and so forth, same thing. They are teaching distance learning in the classroom. It's I saw this myself. The teachers in one corner of the room got a majority of the kids on their Zoom or their platform that they're meeting at. And then on the other side of the room, they got the teacher's aide, the classified staff, who's got maybe a small group of students that are working with them to reinforce some of the activities in everything going on, as well as there's been changes that are coming along with student support services that I anticipate that not this next week, but in the next couple of weeks, we're gonna have another webinar in the evening where we address those different changes, because as things are, the requirements to open up the state have changed, these things are changing too. So
are all the schools, I know that when we, the last 2 episodes, we talked about the one school that was opening at 9, but are all the other schools moving to that platform? Are they opening 7:30 or 8:30 or?
So the different school sites, they have the autonomy to go ahead, and their school sites and their staff and their students came up with the schedule. A lot of them were negotiated with the unions and the teachers and the principals, so they negotiated that. So they had to come with that and make that plan together. I do know that some of, like with Mr. I want to say Mr. Ford, with Mr. Preston over at Gerald Ford, they have their check-in time early, and then they don't start class till about 9 o'clock. There's different studies and so forth that principals work with their staff on to meet the accommodations of students and so forth. But I do want to share a little bit more about building the foundation. This was our event, Mary, that we had on Saturday. And you being up in the mountains, you may not have been able to see it.
No, how did that turn out?
So it turned out well. I did learn this morning that, and maybe people that are watching, if you're in the Cove, you can tell me. I did hear in the Cove, unfortunately, from 3:30, 4 o'clock on until about 7:30, Spectrum was out completely for cable. So unfortunately, people may not have been able to catch it. But the beautiful thing is we were given the opportunity to stream it on our Facebook page and our YouTube page. So what I was able to do is that's actually the background. You got to go to about 2 minutes in, but at about 2 minutes in, what happens is it becomes our show. And there you can see what we were able to do is stream the whole event here. It'll appear right up after this commercial, but we were able to appear the whole event here. And then I had that little thermometer in the corner as people made donations. I do want to say that there's opportunity if you still want to donate and so forth. Just please know that all of these funds go directly back to the classrooms. We do still have that option available, and that's something that we have available throughout the whole school year. But it was really cool. The event was really cool. I have it on mute right now because if you want to see this, Mary, you can check it out on our Facebook page and so forth. But what was awesome is in the beginning here,
Desert Sands Educational Foundation.
It's kind of low here, but in the beginning here, in all the background music, we got that from the performers from CamFest. So our friend Grady, he did the intro. The other music that's throughout, another person, Courtney Campbell, who performs at CamFest, and some of our other professional artists provided the background music and so forth throughout the whole episode. So it's really special. We really connect with our partners. We really connect with all the great programs that the foundation has provided over the last year plus, as well as we talk about the Everything Great Desert Sands. And it's kind of cool that we were able to do this all with students too. The students that hosted the show I thought I was watching an Entertainment Tonight type show. And I hope I don't get in trouble for saying that on KESQ's.
How did the dinner program go with our partners?
Yeah, so first of all, I want to share that Tara and I ate way too much. We started off the day with brunch at Heirloom, and then when we ordered dinner, beautiful thing about Slice and Maracas are right next door to each other. So we got the appetizers and cocktails and stuff from Maracas, and then we got the dinner and pizza and everything for dinner from the Slice. So it was really cool. But we've already got some reports in. Was it Chef Andy at her restaurants and so forth? They gave us a little bit north of $100. So that was
wow.
nice. Yeah.
Yeah.
It also tells you, if anything, we helped push $1,000 worth of business her way that night. So I like to hear that. And I, with everybody responding back, I'm hoping that we can maybe make this a monthly type thing where the whole desert comes out to support,
Exactly.
the foundation, and also support our own. When I approached some of the restaurants about this, they were like, "Yeah, this is no brainer, Sean. We'd love to do this for you guys."
Yeah, and I think it's a good community involvement because even just driving through Palm Springs, there was not a lot of people eating, of course, because it's so hot outdoors. And then the other areas that really concentrated on misters and fans and whatever, they seem to be pretty popular.
I'll tell you, I actually went out to lunch with Sean from KESQ the other day. We went to the Slice. I'm going to help support Jack over there. And it was 112 degrees. We were sitting outside. And I know people laugh at when I say this, especially my friends on the East Coast. It's a dry heat. I was fine. We had misters. I had plenty of iced tea, plenty of water. I had my pizza. I had my salad. I was good to go. I can't wait for the cooler temperatures to come in. So when we can go outside and eat a little, enjoy it some more.
Well, it was 42 degrees here this morning.
Oh, burr.
Rubbing it in. No, we had the same experience on Sunday. We had a late little get together and found a place that was, they had a lot of distance between the tables. We were partially in the shade, and once the sun went over the mountain and the misters, and it was probably 100 plus. And it was actually nice with the fan and the misters, and they kept plenty of water coming, and we probably sat there for just a couple of hours, and eventually you don't think about the heat because you're kind of enjoying who you're with.
Exactly. And it's all about normalcy. Hey, real quick before we wrap up, Mary, there's somebody near and dear to both of us that's saying hello. You know who this guy is.
Oh, hi, Rick. Oh, my gosh.
Yeah, he's got a daughter that's over at La Quinta this year, experiencing the distance learning and so forth. Yeah.
I miss those guys a lot.
Yeah. Well, I'll tell you what, as soon as we can open up back again, you are more than welcome to come on down anytime. You know that. I was jealous of the activity you got to have with Chef Oscar this weekend. It looked like you guys had a great time. I will give you a sneak peek about something. This is just the hard copy, but the communication team has been working on this. And they've been running by me, and we're trying to get a logo for Classroom Conversations. And for the people that are watching, this is what we're going with so far.
Oh, cool.
Yeah.
That's cool. I like that.
Yeah, so all of the colors here, okay, they represent the district colors in the logo. And then the Classroom Conversations, the encompassing here, that is one of the predominant colors in our logo, which is a dark purple for the foundation. And then all of these symbols, okay, they're arrows. And as our communication team told me, and I really like it, they all represent the many conversations that are going around many of our schools, many around our community, our students, the professional learning that's going on, the collaboration that's going on, and they're all intermingled. And that's exactly what we do with Classroom Conversations. We engage the community, and we talk about everything here. So hopefully I'm going to get this, digitized. And so obviously it's digitized, but we'll be able to have it here. And I'm hoping to get it kind of interactive too, like a GIF. I mean, I've got a student that I'm going to be working with that. So I think it'd be kind of cool.
Yeah, that'd be kind of fun.
One of the things I saw immediately when I saw this was I grew up in the era where I went to Fish concerts and the Grateful Dead and Pink Floyd. I was like, oh my gosh, Chef Mary, I thought Mary Perry was going to Pink Floyd concerts when she saw this, but no, I like it a lot after she walked me through it. It definitely makes sense with what we're doing.
And it's not busy. Sometimes they get busy and then you can't, you need to focus on, the purpose of the whole sign, the Classroom Conversations.
Yeah, exactly. You know what, Mary, I do want to get us off here, but there's one comment I want to go ahead and post up here. This is from, this is nice. As a former DSUSD student and parent, I appreciate and fully support the efforts we're making and successes that we're accomplishing in this challenging and changing environment. Geez, Hey, David, thank you for that. We greatly appreciate it. That's exactly why we're doing it, to make sure we can get communication out to you. And also, I love seeing Chef Mary every Tuesday and Thursday.
It's a lot of fun. I always look forward to it, and it makes me keep my ear to the ground about what's going on. And then, you can kind of sometimes diffuse a situation, or, you hear other things that you think, gosh, I bet nobody really thought that was going to be a positive or negative thing. Or you watch the kids, and I think once the kids get back in school and they're in a routine, that fear factor is just going to slowly just fade away. One of the guys that works up the street, his little girl is going to first grade or kindergarten, I think. And he says she doesn't know any different. It's, the kids that maybe were in fourth grade and now they're home for fifth grade. But he said his little girl doesn't know any difference. And so it's pretty easy. She's on the computer and she's going to school. So for them, it's pretty easy. So that was kind of interesting to hear him say that they didn't feel the pressure.
Right. Well, Mary, thank you very much for joining me. I'm going to kind of wrap up here. I'll catch up with you backstage in a second, okay?
Okay. See you later.
See you later. Thank you. Well, thank you again for catching us on Classroom Conversations, where we engage the Desert Sands Unified School District community. As I shared, I wanted to share this later in the episode because I want to make sure to get the important information. But as people know, the mission for the Desert Sands Educational Foundation, here we go. The Desert Sands Educational Foundation secures funding and awards money to provide supplemental resources that enrich and enhance student learning in Desert Sands Unified School District. And that's exactly what we just did over the weekend with building the foundation. We're looking to secure funds to help out with our teachers in the classroom. One thing that I pride myself with this foundation is, I want to say, out of this drive year, 100% of that money is going to go to the classroom. And I can honestly say that. So I think that's fantastic. But thank you for catching us. We'll be on Thursday at 9 o'clock. Chef Mary, I know that you can still see me and hear me. The person that we're going to bring on, hopefully you can join us. He's very busy scooping out lemonades, frozen lemonades. And hopefully you can join us on Thursday morning. But we'll catch you then Thursday at 9. We also have the board meeting tonight. I'll be streaming the American Sign Language and the Spanish version for you guys. Have a great one. Bye-bye.